the bracket.
And it is the Pikachu Libre coming out for Kira. Of course, no surprise on the Croagunk. I'm curious, I'm sure we'll probably be seeing Latios on Kira's side and Mimikyu on Boolerex's side, but a deviation from that could be insight into their game plan and their approach to the set overall. Here we see the Mimikyu coming out for Boolerex, and we are on Boolerex's footage, so we're not going to see Kira's preview of supports, but once we get in the game, peek into that top right corner and we'll see if it's a Latios.
I would be surprised if it isn't. Yeah, she is going to have the Latios, especially since she likes to tack on a lot of that extra pressure that Latios could allow her to pull off from. And now you can already see explosive start already from Boolerex, but you see Kira closing in that gap, getting in that crit, and following up, being able to keep Boolerex over to the side and tries to get a reset right there.
Yeah, that boulder connecting, boulder hitting is so much damage for Croagunk. This is a great start for Boolerex and a nice potential way to sort of even things out, at least in terms of HP, because Kira started off, she's running Whimsical Cheer. Whimsical gives you a random potential for anything, and she started off with a bunch of meter and Latios off the bat, but has not opted to go into the Latios early. That makes sense. But Boolerex responding right there with some red armor, winning the field phase, and now Kira picks her spot to go into burst.
Oh, but the answer back, using the Mimikyu right there too, does find that mix-up though. Boolerex keeping now Kira over to the side. She has that burst meter activated and she's going to pull the trigger, but Boolerex was ready for her. Does get that shield and the Latios now to try to extend what little potential she could get from the burst. And talk about that rock though, you were saying how much damage it does. She's nearly at 1 now, and Boolerex is going to try to tack on this extra pressure to close it out.
Yeah, not able to get a crit off the Pebble Throw. Oh no, there's the JY. Such a strong move. Boolerex just jumping back and doing these sort of falling JYs. They make it so tough for Pikachu Libre to advance on the ground through. So Boolerex taking round 1, and the double team follow-up gonna not hit there for Kira and punished by Boolerex, winning that field base, pulls the Mimikyu, oh, and connects with it. We'll see what the follow-up is.
There's going to be a good amount of damage, especially with the double debuff that Mimikyu has provided now. As well as the fact that you see Boolerex playing way more keep away, knowing that Kira wants to close in that gap, but she has not found the opportunity nor the window to do so.
Yeah, Boolerex sliding in, trying to steal the buff that Kira had, but just a little bit mistimed, and finds himself in a good position here though. Strong lead against Kira. This is going to steal that buff. There's the defense buff for Boolerex, and now Kira calling the Latios, trying to find a way to respond.
Yeah, being able to call in the Latios to get more of an extension, and she's doing so successfully. Now trying to make this reverse, but Boolerex still has that burst to bring it right back, and Kira now instead gonna answer in with a burst of herself. Boolerex finding the opportunity, though, to close in that gap as Kira wanted to get a lot more aggressive, and Boolerex basically had that window of knowing because of the fact that Kira had already pulled the trigger on the burst.
Yeah, and Boolerex at the end there doing such a good job. We saw him charging up that sort of uppercut style attack and closing it out against Kira.
Alright, getting started though. Kira needs to make some of those adjustments to find herself back into this game, because Boolerex has been doing such a good job at not only playing patiently, but also being way more aware of the matchup. Kira's made a swap though over to the Pikachu, and now trying to get full extension over this matchup change forward. Boolerex is stuck against the wall, but I like the way that Boolerex is moving forward, not trying to overextend and holding shield a lot more patiently.
Yeah, and a great job from Boolerex just staying calm here. Kira sticking to the Latios, but I think Boolerex has just played defensively really well. The use of that release X at the end of that last round being a good example. Here covering the Nuzzle with more red armor, and the Acupressure going to debuff Kira, which makes the Venoshock that we saw Boolerex about to go for there a little bit stronger. Oh, but a nice grab, picking up the Mimikyu before it can become active.
It was really good timing right there too. Now activates the Latios and is going to try to get this overextension, knowing that Boolerex wants to hold shield here. Does pull the burst so that way he could avoid the aggression that Kira is going to try to attack on. She gets in though, finds that window. Boolerex still has that burst meter activated. Can he make this comeback off of the wake up? No, he can't. Kira shuts him down, doesn't give him the chance.
Yeah, really, really strong attack there that Pikachu has. The just shutting down all jumping options. If you block, you're just minus. It's always enhanced when you're in burst, the true form. So strong. Nuzzle punished! Boolerex ready for it again. Boolerex has been doing a great job playing around Kira's offensive grab game. Venoshock's catching Kira, jumping. Kira just can't find her way in.
And this is the struggle with this matchup too that we were referring to earlier on. It's just a matter of trying to close in that gap, but Kira's taking on a lot of this chip damage, taking a lot of this damage overall from Boolerex, just stopping her and snuffing her out. Now, it's just a matter of being able to try to close in that gap, but now with only 10 health, Kira's struggling to find her way in. She has to call Latios, but Boolerex gets out of that situation, seeing that Kira was a good space away.
Yeah, now Kira into burst of her own. She is in Guts also. She has that red HP, so that means her burst is going to be even stronger. But, oh, caught walking forward. Not going to be enough, though. Boolerex walking back, jumps over the burst, and then punishes with a grab. Tricky situation, but great awareness from Boolerex.
I love the way that Boolerex is playing this right now. Kira, though, retaliating right back. The burst is online, and Boolerex is going to pull it out. Does have the Mimikyu too to try to get that debuff onto Kira, but may not even have to use it right here. May just opt to just wait out for the next round. But right here, Kira, she's kept Boolerex off to the side, and Kira is going to take on a lot of that damage. Unfortunately, isn't going to be able to make this comeback. Boolerex now going on to the next round.
Yeah, Boolerex on set point. If he wins this, he will qualify. Moving on over Kira. So Kira, to stay in this, has to pick up this next round and the game. She's got to keep the pressure on, and she does have a lot of burst meter to work with, so that's great for her. But she needs to win this first field phase. Taking a phase loss here would be pretty rough.
Well, she did a good job right there, avoiding the Mimikyu and not getting hit by the debuff. Now trying to find her way in, though. She does get caught right there, and Boolerex is going to close in the gap to get a little aggressive. Does get that shift on the dual phase now, right back over. He's going to play a lot more aggressive, but it's a matter of Kira now shifting over her gameplay. You can see that instead of playing as aggressive as we're used to seeing, she's forced to play a lot more defensively, and she's made that adaptation.
Yeah, and Boolerex has just been doing such a good job as well, creating space at moments when he needs it, and then forcing Kira to approach. But Kira, nice side kick there, and finds a, JY there, and finds a spot to call the Latios.
And now she's able to trap Boolerex over to the corner, utilize the Latios to attack on that extra pressure, closing this gap though, and while she's in that burst mode, she could be able to close in that gap a lot easier. Now it's a matter of keeping Boolerex out and trying to make sure that she can punish Boolerex's landing, and she can't do so, unfortunately for Kira, but now Boolerex has that burst, and I'm scared right now, Burnside. Boolerex is going to be able to keep Kira away.
Yeah, just 15 seconds left on the clock. There we saw Kira with a nice hit of Thunder, but not able to convert because she's so far full screen, leaving Boolerex the room to call the burst. And this is devastating for Kira. She has to get in.
Yeah, there's 3 seconds only left on the clock, and Boolerex, he's just waiting this out. Kira, unfortunately, can't do the damage necessary to close in that HP gap, and Boolerex is going to be able to qualify through that lower bracket.
Yeah, so huge ups to Boolerex for that wonderful play against Kira in this set. And I think that just the devastating zoning that Boolerex has been throwing out against people.